Hey up, and welcome to this video. And as you can see, this morning we've got wall-to-wall sunshine, wall-to-wall blue sky, and for today's subject I wanted dull, grey and overcast. It's sod's law at work, it really is. So I've just walked over the dam wall at Lady Bower, and I'm walking down to the waterfall now. I think it's down here, I'm pretty sure it is. And I want to talk first about inspiration, what inspires me, what's inspired me in the past. So going back to the past, it's probably books that started the inspiration, books from the library, books that people bought me for Christmas, which really started to educate me on photography. Just a minute. No, I thought that was a shot. And then magazines. I used to buy an awful lot of magazines, and those magazines sort of taught me all different aspects of photography. So they were the early inspiration. And I suppose for me, photography is a bit of a drug. It's an obsession. I don't do drugs, paracetamol, but and Maltesers probably. That's my other addiction. But photography really is an addiction for me. To be out here this morning, it's 8 o'clock. I got up at 5:30, and I'm here. And as I've drove up, we've had this beautiful shades of green on the landscape. Beautiful, saturated, fresh greens that have come out and are ready to be photographed. But we're not going to photograph the landscape today. I did think about it, but the sun is already too harsh. I think sunrise is about 5 o'clock-ish, well early. So that was inspiration in the past. Inspiration now comes from YouTube, watching YouTube videos, and Instagram. So I no longer read magazines. God, they're expensive, and they tend to repeat. So I think if you've got knowledge of photography, you're not going to buy a magazine that's already going to tell you what you might already know. And so inspiration, so Instagram. Yes, there's issues with it. Yes, we're always winning phones on there, or we're winning vouchers, or people are sending you messages saying, can you send me some money? I might try that. I would like a lens actually. So if you get a message in your inbox with my bank details, you know I'm after a lens. So Instagram inspires me because you've got everyday people and photographers going out taking some fantastic images with DSLRs, with phone cameras, with mirrorless cameras. But the main thing is they're out there in all these different locations, and they're sharing the images that they take. And then we've got YouTube, which pretty much is doing the same, sharing the experience of a location and what there is there to photograph. So that's where I get my main inspiration now. So for this video, I was inspired by an image that appeared on Instagram, and it was by Drew Brown Photos, and it was of a waterfall at Yorkshire Bridge. And when I first read it, I thought, oh, somewhere in Yorkshire then, Yorkshire Bridge, you'd think. And then I read a bit further on the caption. So I'm just checking behind me because I don't like talking when there's people around too. This stick in my hand, it's people might think you're a bit dotty. Right, the path changes here now. Let me just get my head around this change in the path. Well, okay, we'll carry on down here. So Drew Brown Photos, put this image on, this waterfall, and I thought that's stunning. It was a stunning little shot, and I put a comment on because I think when you see a stunning shot, you should make a comment. And so yeah, this waterfall's was by near Lady Bower, and I thought, oh yeah, I've heard about people talk about this. It's never really been on my list, but I thought, you know what, let's do a bit of research and let's go and make a video with this waterfall. So thank you, Drew Brown Photos, because you've inspired this video. And if you go and look at their feed, you'll see some amazing images of the Peak District and other places as well. It's a feed definitely to follow. If you like photography, then I would definitely follow that. I'm not going to put the picture up that they took because I think we should respect copyright. Other photographers' work, we should respect it, so we shouldn't just pinch it to put it in a video. So if you want to see those images, pop along to that Instagram feed and you can have a look at that image and all the other amazing images that are on their Instagram account. And copyright's important because once you press that shutter, you take ownership of that image, and if somebody wants to use it, they've either got to ask your permission or pay for it. Pay for a license. Nothing's free. So I can hear water and I can actually see a building that I did see in a picture, so we are getting close. So I've got a feeling we're going to have to take some shots from this side of the river and then move over the other side, and I think it is quite a short walk to get onto the other side. Now I got asked another question the other day, was which one photographer inspires you? And to be honest, there isn't one. There isn't one individual photographer that inspires me. It's a whole kaleidoscope of photographers that you can watch on YouTube or look at on Instagram. So not one, but many give me my inspiration for photography. Right, I found it. I can see it. It's over the other side of this wall, but I can't see how to get down into there. And I'm pretty sure I've seen some shots been took down there, so there must be another way in. So I'm going to have to walk back and see if I can get to the other side of this wall without climbing over it. I don't. It's quite. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be able to climb over that wall somehow and not survive the other side. So I'll come back to you when I get over there. But that's looking very nice from what I can see. Very nice. Running really well. So I've just walked down this, well, it's not a path, it's just, yeah, it's a mess. I've just walked down there, slipped down it, and this is Yorkshire Bridge itself. So we've come across there from the other side and then come down the side. So I've got a view looking down now, and I quite like this. Quite like the tree on the left, mossy greens on it, I like the layout of the waterfall in the background. I might go down there, but I'm not sure what sort of image that's going to give me. I can't see a route to cross the river. It looks very deep and the current looks very strong and I can't swim, and so it looks like the only way to get on the other side is to climb over that wall, and I'm not kind of loving that thought, to be honest. But let's see what we end up with. So I played around with shutter speeds and did a bit of cropping in this scene just to improve the image and tidy it up. And 1/6 of a second for this shot. What I didn't like though was one of the branches wasn't covered in green moss, and I felt that spoilt the image. But also in the upper part of the image there wasn't a lot going on. So could we improve on that? I'm sure we could. Now when I normally take waterfalls, I tend to stick to 3 shutter speeds, 1/6, 1/8 and half a second, and never move from them. But I was determined in this video to get myself out of my box and start doing different shutter speeds to see what we could end up with. So this shot was 1/100th of a second. As you can see, we've frozen the action, but it's not very pleasing to the eye. But when we go down to 10 seconds, now we're talking. Now we're smooth. We are looking very smooth, and that looks much nicer as an image, and cropped in, nice square crop, and we've got something happening now in the upper part of the image, whereas in the first one we looked at, it was a bit dark. We then moved lower down, went vertical, again 1/100th of a second, not looking very good, and then we went 1/10 of a second, which is an improvement, but still not what we're looking for. That smoothness of 10 seconds looks really nice, looks really calm and dreamy looking, and looks even nicer when it's cropped in. Next we turned horizontal, and this allowed the splash in the left there to move out more into the image, and darkened down the processing this for 8 seconds. And all these images were underexposed by 1 stop, which really allows you to control the processing. 30 seconds really blown out the water, as you can see, totally whitened out. But again, in processing, we brought this back down to a decent level. Next shot, 1/10 of a second, looks quite messy, that, not loving that. But switching to the magic 10 seconds, that's looking nice. I like that. I like that. And it's quite dark again, and when we come to process it, rather than brightening it up, we'll leave the light levels very subtle. Then we moved on down to the lower part of the river. Okay, I've come down lower now, and I've just walked across these rocks, and they are very slippy, and I think they're even more slippier with Wellington boots on. But at least if I fall in the water, I can not get too wet. So I've come across here, I've clambered across these rocks, and I've set the tripod up on here. And even this was a challenge, because you're trying to get the tripod legs between the rocks, and it's not an easy place to photograph at all. But this is going to give me, hopefully, a shot like this. And there is a problem, because there's some twigs and some branches hanging down into the shot. We might have to do a bit of photoshopping there to take them out. But this is a very nice view. Apart from this sort of concrete pyramid in the background, not a lot I can do about that. I think that's part of the water flow that comes from the reservoir. So I'm going to try this one. The water's very deep in front of us, so we don't want to be slipping here. at all. No slippage please. I'm going to stop this side of the rocks and we'll see what we can get here. And again we'll try 3 different exposures here and see how they come out. But this is a very nice low viewpoint, but that concrete pyramid in the background, I'm not loving that. I wonder if I can take that out in Photoshop. That really is a sore thumb, that. This was a much better viewpoint for this waterfall. However, it did have its problems, and as you can see here, we could see that white pyramid poking up, and in two places. And also I did a focus stack here, and Photoshop left some nasty blurred lines either side of this tree trunk, which means if I want to sell this as a print, I've got to tidy up those lines. But quite a nice scene, very green here, which is what I wanted. I want some greenness surrounding this waterfall, so this shot worked. On the final edit, as you can see, there was a slight crop there, and there might be too much water in there, I don't know, it might want cropping a bit further. Then we went to the magic 10 seconds again, and this looks really nice, this. And again, we've still got the same problem on the focus stacking on there, and we did crop more of the water out in the final edit for this shot. Now went lower down, which managed to hide the nasty little pyramid, and did a focus stack and brought some foreground in there. Moved in closer, 6 seconds, and again on that left hand side we've got that little bit of that white pyramid, which we removed in the final edit of the image, and some nice green above as well. Now 1/100th of a second worked in this image. I really like that. I like the action in this, and again I'm liking the green above. 8 second, got to remember to remove that pyramid, but very dreamy again, looking very smooth, nice. 8 seconds. Went vertical, 1/25th of a second, tried to bring some more foreground in. Not sure about this one, might be too much water visible in the image, but yeah, not sure. Then finally we've got 1/8th of a second, nice and closed up, cropped in. Got to remember to remove that pyramid, and that's the final image after we've removed it. What a really nice waterfall that turned out to be. Yes, I didn't fancy climbing over that wall. Maybe next time, if I take Helen with me, she might be able to give me a lift up and catch me as I come back over. I did plan to take some shots with the drone, but it was playing up a little. It was kept moving too much left and right, and there was lots of branches and trees, so I didn't even attempt that. But I think if there was very little wind, you could avoid climbing that wall and just get the drone over to take some still shots. But I think that side of the river, you would get a nice shot. But I was well happy with those images I got there, and even happier that I'd thought about going out of my shutter box and trying different shutter speeds. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope there might be a little of inspiration to go to that waterfall and explore it. I think I'm going to go back there in autumn, because if we look at the trees surrounding the waterfall, I think there's lots of potential for some autumn shots there, or maybe one at least. So thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber, it's free. Thank you if you are a subscriber, and if you've liked this video, please hit that like button. The next video is bluebells, so I thought I wasn't going to bother with bluebells because everybody's doing it. And then I did a search on Tinternet, and
there was a local woodland that came up. So we go there and take some shots, but I'll tell you now, it was very challenging. Okay, we'll end the video on a recap of those images, and we'll put them up full screen with a little bit of music. Otherwise, I'll see you later.